Hi, Hour 7. I'm going to try to show you why you don't need to draw on a piece of paper if you have Anime Studio. And I'm doing everything with a mouse here in Windows 7. So I'm going to bring up your image, and I'm just going to use Windows Snipping Tool and then create a new image. And what I'll do is I'll go ahead and save that. And now what I'm going to do is bring up Anime Studio, and I'm going to import an image. Oops, but first I've got to create the new image, and now I'm going to import by doing File, Import, Image, and I'm going to select the image I just saved. Now I can resize the image and move it around. Now I chose this one because when I do my drawing, you see that there's a square, a triangle, and a circle, and these faces have gray shapes that are like that, and they're showing you how you can use these shapes for your faces to guide your face drawing. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to name layer 1. I'm going to name it Baby, because I'm going to do the baby here. Let's now take that image, and I'm going to zoom in on the resize the image. Notice the blue here actually is my viewing surface. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to resize the baby's face so it's about the size to fill the viewport here. Now what I'm going to do here is I've selected this image, and I'm going to click on the 3 dots, and it's going to bring up the dialog on the image, and I'm going to change its opacity to about 30 and select OK. So you see that the image is on top of the vector layer. The vector layer comes up by default, but to create one you just select here and select vector. And what that allows me to do is I can draw on the vector baby layer, and I can see what's happening on the image layer, what it should look like. So now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the color to be a gray color, just like your baby. And so I'm going to click on the stroke and move this over to some gray size and select OK. I'm not going to do any fills, just the stroke. Now I'm purposefully leaving the width to 4. I'm going to go over here, select these shapes in the drawing, and I'm going to make sure that I select a circle or oval. And I've got auto stroke on, but autofill is off. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click and drag, and I've got a basic circle there. Now the width is not right, but I'll fix that in just a second. But let me show you. I'm going to click on this tool here, which is your transform tool. Now notice it's got all of the points selected, so it'll move the whole thing. But if I do the point selection tool and click over to the side, now I can select the transform tool and move points individually. And I'm going to add a point here, and let's just transform this point like this and move this here. Now notice this is kind of flat here, so you can use the curvature tool to change the curvature of any of these points to get it like you like it, or like how you think it should fit. Like that. So now that we've got our basic shape, I'm going to go and select this tool here. Actually, yeah, I'm going to change the width first. So I'm going to click on this shape, and I'm going to now change the width to 20. And you see, well, maybe it should need to be a little bit larger, so maybe 30. And you just select the width that you want. I click over on the canvas to deselect that shape. So I can click it to select it and deselect it. Now let's focus on the ear. I'm going to just take the layer. Actually what I mean is I want to actually zoom in. So I'm going to use the mouse wheel to zoom in and the right button to drag my image over so that I see just the ear. Now what I'm going to do, you could use the drawing tool, but I'm going to use this add point tool, and I'm going to make sure that all of these auto weld, autofill, auto stroke, and sharp corners are turned off, and I'm going to change the stroke color to black. select OK, and I'm going to change the width to about 7 and hit enter. Don't forget to hit enter, and 7 will be there. Now what I'm going to do is start to click, but notice how it turns red where I don't want it to be red because it will actually weld to that line, and that's the important kind of things that you need to learn about the vectors. So I'm just going to click here. Now watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to click here and drag. Click, drag, let go. Click, drag, let go. Click, drag, let go. And I repeat that process. Now here, notice I'm not going to go all the way here. I'm actually going to pull over here. You could do it there. Well, let me go ahead and do that since it doesn't weld. Now that I've got all my points here, what I'm going to do is select this blob looking thing that's a create shape tool, and I'm going to click on the line. Notice up here it says create shape, and I've got fill or stroke or both. I'm going to make sure stroke is selected, and what's going to happen is the red is going to turn black when I select create shape. Now I'm going to go to none of the points are selected, so I'm going to select transform points, and I'm going to grab this last one and move it here. And I might move this other point over here and just create the shape a little bit better like that. And then that allows you to select this tool that allows you to adjust the line width, and I can adjust the line width on the end. If I select all of the points by clicking on the line, I can change the line width like that. Now, in general, I probably want consistent line width, so I really probably want to set that width to the correct value. Might play with it before I do some of the drawing, but you can adjust many points at once with the line width tool. Let me draw another curve, and I'm going to click, drag, click, drag, click, drag. Notice I'm watching out for that red. I don't want it to weld there, but I do want it to weld here. And I'm going to come down and do like that, so I've got my ear shape. Now what I'm going to do is again do that create shape, the blob tool. Select that. Now it's selected this whole thing. Now I'm going to press shift and select both of them. Now I'm going to do create shape, and there's my shape. Now I can go to the transform point tool, and I can move this around, and again I can do the line width changing and everything else like that. Now I'm going to zoom out and just show you that that's the shape that we're working on, and you can just keep that same kind of process to create the whole face there. Let me now show you with this other one. The reason I chose this one is I can go here, and I'm using my oval. Let me go back and change the stroke color to something else. Let's make it a kind of a blue color, light blue color, just for fun. And the width, we'll make it about a 30 like we did before. And I'm going to, there's the shape of my man. I'm going to do my right mouse button and drag it up. Now I'm going to show the other one by doing a triangle. I'm going to start at the bottom and go up and make it about like that. Now it's not in the right size. Now if I do the transform tool, it's got all of those points selected. I'm going to move it into the right position, and again select points and click on the canvas so that the points are deselected, and now move these points to kind of the right place, but the curvature is not right. So all I'm going to do is go to the curvature tool and select a particular point. Now as I move it left it becomes sharp, and as I move it right it becomes bent, more curvature. And so there we've got kind of the curvature of the face. Bring it over. So basically those are the kinds of things that you can do, and that's why you don't really need to use a piece of paper. As I zoom back out, now these guys are not in the viewport, but I'm still just drawing them because later on I can select them all. Here I'm using the loop and transform, and I've actually got that face. I could move it up there, so I can do that later, and I could put it on a different layer. Let me zoom in, and all we have to do is turn off the image, and now we can see just the vector that you've created. So again, you don't have to use paper and pencil.